Anyway. Hey, everybody. Welcome to an impromptu episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and beer.
And technical difficulties. Dogs and cats living together.
Yeah.
Mass hysteria.
If you look up the term scrambled at the last second, you'd find a picture of this episode right next to it.
Correct.
I mean, we scrambled so much that I didn't even spell the name of my notes right here. But that was also done almost 10 years ago at this point, so that could have just been me sucking at my job.
We had a 2-part episode ready to go, and then let's just say that it wasn't ready to go. So,
No.
Like once again, introducing the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, history goon, Kevin Carlton. Whoops.
Howdy.
That's what I was looking
So, have you ever heard the stories of gremlins from World War II?
for. I think that they were in our computer systems tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Is we had gremlins that just got in there and boo-fooed everything and just decided to not make it work.
Well, it's good. It's good to have other sets of notes available, and right out of the gate. By the way, if you've got some old episodes of ours, from back at the beginning, or if you got some things that you think that we could do a better job on, just shoot us a email at ckcbpodcast@gmail.com and let us know, because I'm open to doing that, because I know some of those, especially some of those earlier episodes, are kind of rough, or figuring out just how to do this thing and all that stuff.
The growing pains.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I'm good. I'm good with that. I mean, there's certain episodes that Todd was on that I'm leaving as is.
Well, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, but there's
for posterity.
There's a handful, and there's even one or two that Paul was on. Maybe one or two that Sandra was on. I don't know. That could use another look, and that's nothing against anybody. It's just maybe I found other information on certain things that I would have wanted in the episode, so I'm gonna redo the episode. But it's neither here nor there. But anyway, Kevin, I'm gonna. I already call you History Goon, but I think I got another nickname for you.
No.
Clutch.
Yeah. I'm the guy you want coming to the plate in the bottom of the ninth with nobody on.
Kevin in the clutch.
So if I fucking strike out, it doesn't hurt that bad.
So
I've got this little like, it's kind of like a blackboard right in front of my computer that I can usually have like 5 episodes lined up on it, where I have the title and then like record, edit, Spotify, YouTube, Shorts, Patreon, stuff like that, just so I have a work list to work through. I just happened to look down at it and remembered that the joke that I was going to make for this episode, I have written on there, and I can't erase it until we do the episode.
Well, hopefully that's next week.
It's one of the very few that I've actually written out, and I really think that I can break you with it. So I have to leave it there.
Tell me. I'll let you know. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I think I'm going to pop you pretty good with it, though.
Okay.
Like, this might be you're going to at least turn away from the mic laughing or, like, cringing at what I just said, but it'll be worth it.
I was listening to some stand-up comedy on Spotify yesterday, and this comedian was talking about how, his wife was in labor for 20 hours straight, and he was talking about how just random doctors would just come in, stick their hand up in his wife, and then just walk away. And he said, and he's like, at one point I told my wife, I said, if one more man comes in here and sticks his hand in you, I'm going to start calling you Kardashian.
This one's going to fall more into that kind of like a blue comedy, kind of, where you're just like, oh oh, he shouldn't have said that into a recording device, but he did.
My
So
favorite kind.
we'll see how it
Anyway,
goes.
who's this tell us who this chucklehead is so I can get him off of our screen.
Well, that's the thing, is we don't really know who he is. We know he existed. We know that he did some stuff that we're going to talk about, but we don't actually 100% know his name.
Oh, so
And I know how much you love Unsolved Murders. But hey, listen, it was either this or a prolific French child molester. So, I unfortunately have notes for both of them. So I figured we're kind of, tackling this at the 11th hour. We may as well do something sort of fun.
Yeah, let's do that. All
you know,
right.
not to say kids don't get hurt, because they do.
Another unsolved episode.
But it's not the same. Okay. The small city of Texarkana straddles both sides of Texas and Arkansas, hence
Louisiana?
the name Texarkana. What's that?
Louisiana too?
No, just those two.
Oh, duh. Maps, Bill. Maps. Okay. Never mind. Whatever. Okay. I'll leave that in. Okay. I don't know why. I just always thought that it was where all three, Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas. But Louisiana's nowhere near those two.
No, that's a little ways off.
If Jody Plauché was on here, he would have probably flicked me off and turned off his camera.
Or made a joke about like, hey man, listen, I was only molested in 2 of those 3 places, not all 3. God, that guy's fantastic. For going through the shit that he did, like, he's got a really good sense of humor about it.
Yeah, he does.
So this is a fairly small town. The bigger part of the population sits in Miller County, which is on the Arkansas side. And the other side, known as the Texas side, is in Bowie County. And all I could really find out there is they have a Walmart. So, in case you're ever in Texarkana, Texas, if you need, a Walmart. And I hear that there's potentially beer in Texarkana also. I'm just not sure which side it's on. But
it could go either way, really.
Probably eastbound.
So who is this?
Down.
Who is this chucklehead?
So we are going to talk about the Texarkana Phantom Murders and our unknown gunman.
Okay. So that's the unknown gunman. How we got a picture of him?
Yeah. Oh, well, full disclosure, how the sausage is made, that's a picture from a movie that was made about the entire thing called The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is fucking wild. If you ever get a chance to watch it.
I've heard of that movie. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like an old, like, mid to late 70s, like, horror slasher kind of movie. It's got big time, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes to it. It's pretty decent, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
And the guy that did that also did a movie called The Beast of Boggy Creek, which is about a Bigfoot in Louisiana, which is fantastic. It's so bad, but it's so good at the same time.
Okay.
The town originated due to competing railroad companies and was part of a border dispute with Mexico during the 1800s. Surprise, it was in Texas. Of course it was part of a border dispute with Mexico in the 1800s. Colorado was part of a border dispute with Mexico in the 1800s. So we're gonna jump right into the action here. On the night of February 22nd, 1946, Jimmy Hollis and his girlfriend Mary LeRae decide to pull off on the side of the road to attend to business, as teenagers do, in the backseat of the car. Their prayer group or doing the homework or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Braiding each other's hair.
Yeah.
Whatever people do in the back seats of cars. Hollis was 24 and LeRae was 19 at the time. They were in Hollis's father's car, and they'd been dating for quite a while. The two of them and the car were supposed to be home by midnight, but as we know, hormones take priority over deadlines.
Correct.
And as the young love... What?
I said correct.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something else after that.
No.
As the young lovebirds took care of some, they attended to business, they were interrupted by a flashlight shining through the driver's side window. Thinking that a very poorly timed police patrol has caught them, Hollis got himself together and steps out of the vehicle. He turned away from closing the door and found himself face to face with a man wearing a homemade burlap mask holding a revolver.
Zodiac.
Close. Different accent.
Oh.
There was a lot more y'alls in this one.
Zodiac here, y'all.
I can't see fucking shit out of this thing. You ever seen Django?
Yes.
My wife spent a lot of time making these goddamn masks, and we are going to wear them. So Hollis confronts this man, says, "Fella, you have me confused with someone else. You've got the wrong man." Hollis would later say that the masked gunman muttered something like, quote, "I don't want to kill you, so do what I tell you to do." Hollis is trying to calm this stranger down. The gunman demands Hollis remove his pants. And as he does this, he stuffs the gun in his face. And LeRae starts begging Hollis to just like, hey, do what he says. Don't give him don't give him a hard time. While she's doing all this, it gets violent. So instead of... Yes, keep your finger on that button. You're going to need it a few more times. So Hollis apparently said something else to him, and the stranger basically tackled him and started beating him in the head with a revolver. Not great, because that can fracture your skull and kill you pretty easily.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, guns are made of metal, and they hurt.
Now, I have a question.
Yo.
Yeah, the way that he's going after the guy in this, I'm wondering, is this a gay man? The gunman?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just wanted to clear that up, fine, yay or nay, right at, here at the get-go.
Did you say gay or nay? That's fantastic if you did. That'd be funny as shit.
We'll go with yeah, I said that.
Sad trombone. Hollis is laying motionless on the ground. Jesus, I got myself all flustered thinking about gay men. Their big, strong hands. Hollis is laying motionless on the side of the road, and the attacker continued until he heard a crack. So he beat him in the head until he heard his skull fracture.
Ouch.
A little bit of quick math here. The amount of force it takes to crack a male human, like a male adult skull, is about 1,100 pounds of force. So he's hitting him pretty damn hard. And if he's getting hit with the cylinder of a revolver, I don't have one here to demonstrate, but the cylinder is pretty goddamn hard, and it will do the trick. And there's a lot of edges and ridges and stuff on it, so it's not the best part of anything to get hit with.
Correct.
At this point, LeRae is in full panic mode because she heard the crack too. She didn't realize it was his skull fracturing. She said it was so loud, she thought it was so loud that it was a gunshot, which is fucking brutal.
Either that,
she told the man that hey,
doesn't...
we don't have any money, we don't have anything of value, and she's trying to take Hollis's wallet out of his pants. While she's doing that, and the masked man demands that she hand over her purse also. She does that, and he tells her to, run, basically. As LeRae ran, the stranger gave chase and screamed, "Liar!" at her over and over again. Don't know why. The man eventually caught her and forced her to the ground. LaRae said that the man did not actually rape her, but he assaulted her violently and then sexually molested her with the revolver.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have different definitions of sexual assault nowadays than back in the, 40s, I guess. LaRae is laying on the ground trying to fight this guy off who's much bigger than her, and she eventually managed to get free and stood up and told him, quote, "Go on and kill me if you're gonna." She then ran to a nearby house at 805 Blanton Street. She woke up the sleeping family and begged them for help. And being a small rural community, somebody wakes you up screaming for help, you're going to help.
You're going to help them, yeah.
At least back in the 40s. Nowadays, I'd be like, can you wait outside? I'll give you a towel or something. Just,
But the killer's outside. Yeah,
that's fine.
And I want him to stay there.
Listen, we're going to use you as bait, and I can shoot him from the top floor window. It's fine.
Right, yeah, there we go.
Then we can take his hood off and see who the Scooby-Doo villain is.
Yeah.
Old Man Perkins? Fuck. If I'd known it was him, I would have shot him sooner. Shortly after calling the police, Bowie County Sheriff W.H. Bill Presley arrived at the first crime scene.
That's 4 names.
Yep, W.H. So I'm assuming Bill was probably just like what he went by, so it's probably like, so this is the 40s. It's probably like a William Harrison, like naming him after a president.
Could be.
Or was it Henry Harrison? I don't know. I don't know presidents that well. For being a history guy,
Benjamin
I should be able to know who they are. And
Benjamin Harrison.
Was it Benjamin Harrison? See, that's how consequential he was. It's like Zachary Taylor. Who gives a fuck about Zachary Taylor?
Hold on, ADD break.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it was Benjamin Harrison, and if I do remember correctly, Benjamin Harrison made an appearance in one of our early episodes.
Really?
Yeah, that would have been the William Cottrell episode, the psycho mayor of Cedar Key, Florida. And I've sent you a little bit of information on this one. Yeah, because I'd love to hear your take on it. But basically, if you don't remember, it was like episode 30. It was in the 30s, or it might have upper 30s probably. But it was the only time in history where the U.S. military has been sent to depose an elected political figure.
Holy shit! Well, I'm gonna stop you there. Anytime I say something like that on my show, I always follow it up with "so far."
So far, yeah.
Because we live in fucking bizarro times right now.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, it could be gearing up to happen right now, for all we know.
I mean, we're already doing all kinds of wild shit that we really don't need to be.
Yeah.
So. Actually, I don't know if you've ever covered anybody from like the Oneida cult up in New York.
No, that's one cult that we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, you should, because there's one real particular guy in there that you need to cover, because he was so weird that he got kicked out of a cult and then then he made himself famous. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Something about a cat that doesn't like Mondays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He shot a president. Weird-ass cult member that killed James Garfield.
Oh.
Charles Guiteau was the guy's name.
I thought you were talking about the school shooter that doesn't like Mondays.
No.
Yeah, Garfield, the cat that doesn't... Okay, got it.
I could have said the lasagna cat, too, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys have for newspaper comics down there, so...
Garfield. I don't know. It's been so long since I've looked at a newspaper.
Right. So anyway, he arrives at the first crime scene. He finds Hollis, who is finally starting to come to. both Hollis and LeRae would end up surviving, but they would obviously have long-lasting physical, psychological, and emotional issues from this because...
Or as they called it back in the 40s, damn it. No, they didn't call it damn it. Shell shock. There we go.
No, it would have been... shell shock was definitely a World War II thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it became battle fatigue in Vietnam, which, makes it sound more clinical and less what it actually is.
Right.
Hollis and LeRae both, again, would go on to describe describe the attacker as a tall man wearing a burlap sack with 2 slits for eyes cut in it. They couldn't agree on the race of the attacker, though. And this could have been important since the population of Texarkana is pretty evenly split between white and black, with a handful of Latino and Native Americans mixed in as well. Hollis thought that the man was white with tan skin from probably working outside, and LeRae's reasoning is, it just doesn't make any sense. She thought he was black due to, quote, his mannerisms and cursing. So apparently in the 40s, only black dudes swore.
It would have been better if she had just said his accent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not great, but that's better than what she said.
I mean, this is also the 40s in Texas and Arkansas. You could have just been like, it was a black guy, and they would have just hung every single one of them that they saw.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe she was being proactive and trying to prevent a racist mini genocide.
Either that, or she was like, worst case scenario, they don't get the right guy, and no great loss, right? Because that's kind of how the mindset was back then, which is fucked up. Yeah. It's pretty gross. So, at this point in time, the attack is being treated as a random robbery attempt. And the police and locals have no idea what's still to come with this whole thing.
Yeah, because when I rob somebody, I like to jam the muzzle of a pistol up their junk.
Yeah. You don't?
No.
Oh.
All right, next time I rob somebody.
Give me your wallet, take your pants off, and put a Glock up your ass. Your what? You heard me. In the small hours of the morning of March 24th, a trucker spotted a young man sleeping in an Oldsmobile on the side of the road. Worried about the danger that the man could put himself in by just sitting on the side of the road, the trucker ran to the driver's side window and trying to wake this guy up to be like, hey, buddy, move it up to like a driveway or something to sleep in instead of on the side of the road. Because you as a truck driver would know better than anybody else how dangerous it is to just stop on the side of the road.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Some asshole could fall asleep at the wheel or be drunk or whatever and plow right into you.
Yep.
And that's why if you're going to stop on a on ramp or an off ramp, it's best to do it on the on ramp, because people are coming off of another road, so they're not going as fast.
That's very true.
But if you sleep on an off ramp, if you park on an off ramp, some chucklehead coming off there at like 80 miles an hour,
you're going to get hammered.
Right, yeah. So it's better if you have to do it on a ramp, do it on the on ramp.
One of my dad's friends used to do like over the road trucking, and he got out of it after he ran over a car in the middle of the road that an old man was in. He just stopped in the middle of the road, like right at the crest of a hill, and shimmied over into the passenger seat and fell asleep. And he drove right over the driver's side of that car and almost killed him.
Oh, damn.
And he's like, yep, I'm done, because obviously he called the police and they found him at fault because he hit somebody, even though it was the middle of the night and the car had no lights on and it was in the travel lane of the road. He's like, yeah, I'm done.
It was probably a black car at that.
Yeah, it was like black, dark gray, something like that. But yeah, I don't think I could blame him for saying that I wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah, me either.
So he gets up to the driver's side window here and he taps on it a couple times and then starts to realize this guy's not going to answer because he has 2 bullet holes in the back of his head. He then looked in the back seat and found the lifeless body.
A little late there, sorry.
All good. He then looked into the back seat and found the lifeless body of a teenage girl wrapped in a blanket. These two have not been, obviously, as lucky as the first victims of the Phantom.
No.
Richard Griffin, 29, was a retired Navy Seabee, which are basically like the Naval Construction Battalion. The Navy engineers, they go out and like build shit. They're actually pretty cool. So he's
like the
29.
Army Corps of Engineers?
What's that?
Like the Army Corps of Engineers?
It's very similar, yeah.
Okay.
He's 29, and his girlfriend of a few weeks, Polly Ann Moore, is 17.
She's only 17.
Yeah. That's a little like, ooh, that's not great.
No, it's not. But it is Texarkana.
And it's also the 40s.
And it's also the
But,
40s.
You know.
It's not like it was in Wales back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, if it had been Wales in the early thousands, like, he would have been an old man and she would have had 12 kids by then, so. I mean, things have changed, I guess. They'd been headed back from a double date with Griffin's sister and her boyfriend at a local cafe and pulled off on the side of the road for some alone time. They weren't in any rush to get back to Moore's home, and unfortunately, they never would get back there anyway. It's believed that sometime the night before when they were parked, they were approached very much like Hollis and LeRae had been, with a blinding bright flashlight and a revolver. The best guess is that Griffin was killed first with 2 shots to the back of the head with a .32 caliber Colt. Moore, on the other hand, had been dragged from the vehicle, sexually assaulted on the blacktop by the attacker, then shot and killed, wrapped up in a blanket, and thrown back in the car. And any fingerprints that this guy would have possibly left were washed away in the heavy rainfall that night. And actually, I am going to take a quick ADD break.
All right.
Because I don't know when fingerprinting first started.
Okay.
Fingerprints were first systematically used in the U.S. in 1902 by Dr. Henry P. DeForest of the New York Civil Service applicants. It was implemented by the New York Police Department in 1903, and the Leavenworth Penitentiary adopted it for inmates in 1904. So I honestly, I didn't think fingerprinting technology was. I thought it was like not quite that old. But there's no way in hell they would have gotten any evidence from this anyway.
Right.
When the police arrived on scene, they found Griffin's pockets turned out, and Moore's purse was in the car, but there was no cash or valuables in it. All of her jewelry was missing. The police ruled this as a robbery gone wrong, but they were stumped as to why it had been such a violent attack. The only thing that they can really think of is that Griffin put up a fight, or that there was like, this guy just decided to ramp things up here. Honestly, I think the first one would have ended exactly like this too, had the guy not been sloppy.
Right.
You know? A lot of serial killers, like you've mentioned this 1,000 times before, they escalate. Like, a lot of them would start doing robberies here and there, and then, you know, you slip up and kill somebody, and like, oh my God, that felt good. And then, you know, you have a new thing. And quite a few of them actually start off with like sexually assaulting victims before they move into murder as well.
Right.
And then some of them evolve even further, and they'll sexually assault victims after they murder them, which sounds just great. The Texarkana Gazette ran an article at the behest of Sheriff Presley on March 27th, asking residents to not spread rumors or anything else that they did not see with their own eyes. They also put out a cash reward, but there was no solid tips ever made to the police department as to who this guy was.
Because he was a phantom.
Exactly. Betty Jo Booker was a 15-year-old straight-A student who was generally loved by everyone she knew. Because of course she was. She's about to be a murder victim. It's just how it works. Lit up a room, you know. I'm sure she helped the homeless and, did charity work.
Loved to laugh.
Yeah. Brought joy to everybody. So, yeah. May as well just snuff the light out of the world.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, So as you can tell, this isn't going to end well. She played saxophone in a group called the Rhythmiers with a guy named Jerry Atkins every Saturday night at the local...
I think he did it.
What's that?
I think he did it. Jerry Atkins? He's the Phantom.
Well, no, he's the diet guy. Or is that Adkins?
No. That just random. That was just like that. You threw it. You snuck another unsolved case in here, so I'm trying to solve it.
No, Jerry Atkins would go on to sound like a NASCAR racer.
This is true.
What do you do, Jerry? I outrun the cops in my souped-up car full of liquor. It's great. So they play at the local VFW, which anybody in a different country that doesn't know what that is the Veteran of Foreign Wars, where it's just like vets can go and drink for like next to nothing and not talk to each other, from what I've seen at VFWs. A lot of dudes just sitting there drinking and watching TV. On April 14th, Betty Jo and Jerry Atkins and the rest of the band played one of their normal shows. Every other week, Atkins and another bandmate, Ernie Holcomb, would alternate bringing her home. But this particular week, Booker told him, don't worry about it because she's got a ride set up with a former classmate that's waiting for her. His name is Paul Martin. Atkins didn't know there was a change of plans until he got a call from Holcomb the next day, because they had both kind of assumed that the other one had checked on her to make sure she got home safely. When you can hit that button again.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
At 6:30 a.m. on April 15th, Martin's 1946 Ford Coupe was found by the Weaver family, who are headed to Prescott, Arkansas. The trip brought them right through Texarkana. They discovered the keys were still in the ignition, but no one was in the vehicle. Several miles away, Betty Jo Booker and Paul Martin would be found in Spring Lake Park. Neither the car or the bodies were anywhere near the intended destination that she was headed to. Booker and Martin would be the Phantom's third and fourth victims, both shot and killed with a .32 caliber Colt revolver again. And like the female victims before, Booker had been sexually assaulted. I'm sure this was just another robbery gone wrong, of course.
Of course.
After word spread about this murder, the residents of Texarkana flocked to the park to see if they could get a good look at the crime scene and try to aid in the investigation.
Because that's always what police want to see.
Yeah, pro tip, if you hear about a crime scene, don't go near it. Don't. You're going to screw stuff up. I did an episode years and years ago about a train wreck that took place here in Vermont, where it was like the middle of the winter and this train hit something in the tracks, jumps the tracks and plunged into a river, and caught on fire. Okay, so the train is half on land, half in the river, on fire. There's like locals showing up to pull people out of the train, but there's also a contingent of locals that are there to take things from the train as souvenirs. Well, it's still on fire. So it doesn't happen with just true crime. There's just weird-ass people everywhere. Martin was found almost a mile and a half from the abandoned car, shot 4 times, face down in a pool of blood. Betty Jo Booker would be found 5 hours later and 3 miles from the car. Booker had been shot twice, and when she was found, her hands were in her coat pockets, so she's been posed at this point. Both Booker and Martin's bodies showed signs of struggle. Both had unfortunately failed to fight off their attacker. And the police couldn't find any reasoning for the bodies to be so far from the car. But I think that it could be like the Phantom possibly getting into the car, kills Martin, dumps his body, sexually assaults Booker, kills her, dumps her body further away. Again, I have no proof. That's just like a working theory that I came up with while I was writing this.
No, it's good as any. I mean,
it's more of a theory than the police have.
Right.
You know? When the police searched the car, they found Booker's saxophone is missing, so they again chalked the deaths up to a robbery gone wrong.
Check the pawn shops of every pawn shop within a 50-mile radius.
Did they check her pockets for the saxophone? Probably not. You may as well look for it there because you're already not doing police work as it is.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's the thing is I think people, when they listen to true crime stuff, they try to give the police a little bit of leeway because, like, a crime like this is like, oh, this is before they knew what a serial killer was. It doesn't matter. You have, at this point in time, what, 5 people dead in one town?
Well, they called it. I mean, they just didn't call it serial killer. They said we have a maniac on the loose.
Right.
We have a mass murderer. We have this. You know, they just didn't name it serial killer. And I'm all for giving credit where credit is due to the police and everything, but if you've got people stumbling all over the case and everything, then shit, you need to make as much fun of that as you do the bad guy whenever they do something stupid, which is the majority of the time, which is why true crime comedy exists.
Yes, because if not, it's just 2 guys sitting in a dark room talking about morbid shit, and that's not what we want to do.
No, we want to have fun.
If we wanted to do that, we would be I don't know.
True
what's one of those
Garage.
super? What's that?
True Crime Garage.
I was gonna say, what's one of those really overrated crime podcasts?
I wouldn't say True Crime Garage is overrated. I would just say that it's kind of tedious to listen to at times because there's just dry facts all the time.
Yeah. Or there's there's another one that's not my favorite about murders. You know.
My favorite murder?
So it's funny that you mentioned going to the pawn shop to look for the saxophone. Because they put out an alert. They basically sent guys, like officers, to all the pawn shops with, because they never found her saxophone, but they found the case. And the case had the serial number, like, on the tag inside the case.
Oh, that's
so they go to all the pawn shops in the area with the serial number and say, hey, if anybody tries to trade this in, tries to sell it to you, take it, let us know, and get a good description of the person and the vehicle that they're in. Because honestly, this missing saxophone is the best lead that they have at the moment to even try to find this guy. October 24th, 6 months later, P.V. Ward and J.F. McNeff, which is that's a wild name, McNeff, they found... Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. They didn't have the case. They had the serial number from something else. I should have read my notes a little bit further ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So they actually found the case, the saxophone case, with the saxophone still inside of it, a few yards away from where her body had been found 6 months later.
Okay, just
restart that part.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned the pawn shop thing. The police had gotten a hold of the serial number for the saxophone. I don't know if they got it from her mother, from mom and dad, or whatever. or if it was like,
I mean, if it belonged to the school, then the school had it on record.
right. And like I don't know like how it works down there, but up here we have
these were club bands. This was a club band. This wasn't a school band, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
But we have a thing up here called Ellis Music. I don't know if you have anything like, it's basically like long-term rentals for like expensive instruments like saxophones and trombones and shit like that. For like school.
Ironically enough, there's a music store down here that does stuff like that called Carlton's Music.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Carlton's Music is not affiliated with the History Goon podcast. So I don't know if they got it from somebody like that. But they go to all the pawn shops like within, a radius of some amount. And like, we're going to give you a serial number for a saxophone. Anybody tries to sell it to you, get a description of them, take the saxophone, get a description of the vehicle they're in, and call us immediately, because that's how we're going to find this guy. That is until 6 months later, when the leather case with saxophone still inside is found not too far from where they found her body.
So it was returned?
Yeah.
The killer dropped the saxophone back off there, just to toy with them.
He dumped it within yards of where her body was found.
Days later.
Months later. 6 months later. So he remembered exactly where he put her, and then put that
so he's
right
just
there.
He's just toying with the police.
Yeah.
This guy was ahead of his time.
He really was. And like, I mean, as we're going to find out, he's unfortunately good at what he does. The panic in Texarkana reached an all-time high when the most Texas couple that has ever existed, Virgil and Katie Stark, were attacked. You could have pulled these people out of, they could have been extras in Tombstone.
Game of Thrones?
What's that?
Game of Thrones?
I mean, Virgil, I just automatically go cowboy name with that one for some reason.
Stark.
Yeah, that's true. So Virgil's one of those weird names. It's either cowboy or you worked for the $1 Million Man back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And you charge people for autographs at Applebee's because that's something he'd used to do. Like, he'd be eating dinner at Applebee's and he'd like walk by people and be like, "Hey, I'm Virgil. I used to be in the WWF. Want my autograph?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, cool, sure." And he'd like sign a napkin. He'd be like, "You owe me $20." Yeah. Good dude. He's dead now, but
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought Virgil was cool.
He died a couple years ago.
Actually, I think I remember that.
The one that I didn't realize died within the last few years was, do you remember Psycho Sid or Sid Vicious from...
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
I didn't realize he was dead.
Well, roids.
Owner of one of the most gruesome leg injuries I've ever seen, too. Oh, dude, he went to do like a kick off the second rope and fell and fucking folded his leg up to the wrong direction. Oh, I can still see it without actually seeing it.
He basically saw the Joe Theismann injury and said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, exactly. Hold my softball glove, because that was his other thing. He was wicked into softball. He was very good at it too, which is crazy because he was like 6'10". Anyway, this attack was a little bit different because this one took place at their home.
Oh shit!
They live about 10 miles outside of town in a little farmhouse. On the night of May 3rd, Virgil, who was 36 at the time, which nobody named Virgil has ever been 36. You're always like at least 50. You're born that way with that name. He's sitting in his comfy chair reading the Texarkana Gazette when he was struck in the head by 2 gunshots that ripped through the window in front of him.
Jeez.
Obviously, he was killed instantly. Katie was already in bed. She heard the glass break and headed for the living room where she found her husband slumped in his armchair. She attempted to call the police when another round came through the window and struck her in the lower jaw, spraying teeth and bone fragments across the living room.
Damn.
That sucks. Just shoot me in the fucking face and kill me instead. I don't want to get shot in the face. Like, I want to die.
Kevin Bright in the BTK story.
Ugh.
That guy.
But Katie.
That guy was a titan. Well, is a titan. He's still alive.
Damn. Katie's a tough old broad, though. Old broad. She was probably like 34. You know, she's in a massive amount of pain. She's panicking. She finally gets her feet back under her, and she reaches out to grab her husband's gun out of the drawer right next to his chair. But she couldn't quite get to it due to the blood loss and the pain. So she can't get the drawer to open. So she runs from the house towards her sister's house, which is down the street. And being outside of town in Texas, her sister's house is probably like bare minimum a half a mile away.
Right.
You know, she finds that the house is empty, so she continues to the next house down, owned by the Prater family. When A.V. Prater answered the door, Katie said, quote, "Virgil's dead," and passed out into his house. Which sounds like some shit out of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. You know?
Does.
By the time the police arrived, the killer had fled, taking nothing of value with him. And the police again label this as an attempted robbery gone wrong. It follows the Phantom's MO for the most part, where it's, you know, using a gun, targeting a couple, blah, blah, blah. The biggest piece of evidence that connected the Phantom to this case was an unfamiliar set of tire tracks that matched tracks from some of the other scenes. This leads people in town to think that this is the work of the Phantom and his... Whoa, hold on. So, this one being so much different, people obviously think that this is the, you know, who's become known as the Phantom. And they're hoping that because this one was involving somebody at their house, maybe this is the last time he's going to do something like this. He's headed out of town. He's going to go terrorize some other community, and he's no longer their problem.
Not likely.
No. November of 1948.
He had a car, so he's going to go.
Exactly, yeah. He's no longer on foot.
That means he's on his way out of town because
exactly
because nobody drives around town in a car if they're going to stay in there. They get in the car because we just got the Walmart here. See, we don't have to walk. We got to walk to the Walmart. We don't have to drive a car. So if we're driving the car to the Walmart, then that means that we're going to stop and get something from Walmart, and then we're going to leave town.
At least a rotisserie chicken.
And that's what the Phantom did. Yep.
He shot these folks. He got in his car. He got himself a rotisserie chicken down to the Walmart, and he's gonna get out of town. It's fine.
You know what you do with the rotisserie chicken?
Eat it.
You put a knife in that.
Wait, do you know something about this that I don't?
No.
Oh.
I just realized that we hadn't had a knife stab in this episode yet.
Turns out the killer was a rotisserie chicken the entire time.
Oh, okay.
So November of 1948, the police come to another conclusion. A man has been arrested for the home invasion and attack on the Starks. I
haven't had an episode just go off the rails like this in a long
Oh yeah, no, we're firmly headed off the rails. So they didn't think that this was the work of the Phantom for a few reasons. First of all, the first attack and all the other ones have so far been done with a .32 revolver. The Starks were killed with a .22 rifle.
They didn't have rifles back then. He was beheaded.
He threw a fucking axe through the window. Of course, because Virgil's played by Sean Bean, he has to die.
Right.
I don't think he's ever survived a movie, has he?
No.
Because he was in one of the Silent Hill movies, and at the end he just kind of wanders off into the fog. And they don't explicitly say that he dies, but because it's Silent Hill and he's in the fog, kind of put two and two together.
Has Sean Bean survived a movie?
No.
Yes.
What?
He does survive in several movies, although his high-profile on-screen deaths over 24 times. let's see. He's lived in movies including Troy, National Treasure, Silent Hill, The Martian, and the Sharp series, which I don't know what the Sharp series is.
Oh shit! The Sharp series are good. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's like Sharp's rifles and all that. Very good book series.
Oh shit! In Troy, he played Odysseus, so he survives till the end credits. Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
that's right. I forgot all about that.
Anyway,
See, when I see him dying, I automatically, because I'm a giant nerd, just immediately see Boromir dying, like with a billion arrows in him.
And
What's that?
Ronan, he was fired. He he. It says fired early on, but survives.
It's weird because he died in Black Beauty, which is a movie about a horse too. I believe that one he died in a barn fire. I could be wrong.
No, it says that he survives in this classic tale. Black
Really?
Beauty. Yeah.
I thought he died in that one.
No, apparently not.
No. I automatically just go to Boromir though, because
Oh yeah, you have to. Anyway, hashtag, but I digress.
Yes. Many people in Texarkana still don't think that this attacker, like to this day, still don't think that this attack was the Phantom. The Stark scene would cover. The Stark scene was covered in the killer's DNA, but this was a time way before DNA testing was a thing. Because apparently, after he shot them, he went into the house. But it didn't find anything
that it
of
wasn't
value.
the Phantom. I would probably, if I was going to put money on it, I would put money on it that it was the Phantom.
It's either the Phantom or somebody that doesn't like the Starks that's going to use the Phantom to get away with killing them.
True.
That's basically the only two options I think that make any sense. After the first two attacks, police departments from both the Texas and Arkansas side start beefing up their patrols, especially on secluded little backside roads. What had once been a quiet, friendly community where folks didn't normally lock their doors had become a town that was nearly a ghost town after sundown.
Because the town feared sundown.
Yeah. They write it in, as a matter of fact.
Reddit check.
Businesses saw sharp declines in customers. The businesses that took the worst hit were those that played more to like night crowds, like bars, movie theaters, stuff like that, restaurants. Because people are afraid to go outside after dark, and they very rarely ventured out after dark, fearing that they could be the next victim of the Phantom. And he doesn't really have a type, which is the thing that makes him even scarier. Like, obviously, yes, he wants women there so that he can sexually assault them, but he's not picky. If he gets to shoot men, he's cool with that too.
I figured it out. His name was Sam, and he had a son named David.
He was a black lab. I mean, I still like my theory that Bernie Sanders was actually the Zodiac killer, though. That's not even my theory. That's been around for a while now.
I know.
Because he was out there at the time, and he looks a lot like those sketches. Like, a lot like him. The one business where business is booming is the local hardware store. Because this is back in the day when we used to be a proper country and you could buy guns at the hardware store.
I was just going to say everybody's buying guns.
Shop smart. Shop S-Mart.
That's smart. This is my boomstick.
Hey, ugly.
You once found me beautiful. Sister or baby, you got real ugly.
Did you hear he has, like, irreversible cancer now?
Bruce Campbell?
Yeah.
I just heard they were coming out with another series. Another Evil Dead series.
I think he's just going to ride it out and be like, fuck it, we ball, and just go out on his own terms. But it's going to be a sad day, man. That'll be a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm
there's so many people that are like, he's not even a good actor, and they're like, you're wrong. First of all, because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
How many people can play themselves as who they would be in a movie? Do you know? Because like, if you haven't seen My Name Is Bruce, you are completely missing out.
I know I've seen it, but
God, it's so good.
But no, Bruce Campbell is a national treasure.
Yes. So yes, the gun shops and the hardware stores are seeing a good jump in business. Now, after the first two attacks, hold on here. I doubled up. Yeah, shoot me in the fucking head, please. Okay. So, people are loading up on ammo and guns, and they're actually buying deadbolts for their house, which is something that is not common for the area at this point because, again, nobody locks their doors.
No, it's common, but otherwise they wouldn't have had them. They put them in, they just didn't use them.
Yeah, that's true. Some families went so far as to booby trap their houses to keep themselves safe from the Phantom after dark.
I like it.
Groups of local high school...
Well, after that last attack, it makes sense. He actually went into that house.
Yeah, after he shot him.
Right.
So what are the booby traps going to do?
In the crime spree?
If they're good booby traps, I mean, if they're just like pots and pans traps to like make noise to let you know there's somebody there, then that's not going to do you any good. But I mean, this is Texas. These are most likely like shotguns, like rigged up to doorknobs and shit. You know?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I thoroughly enjoy the idea of doing that. Not that you should. Not condoning it. Let me stop talking before I say something stupid. Anyway, groups of local high school and college boys banded together with baseball bats and patrolled the town after dark, which is good because baseball bats are a melee weapon, whereas a firearm is a ranged weapon. So they don't play well against each other. They unfortunately never had a chance to beat anybody up with a bat. During this time, there were constant rumors and like news about someone's son or nephew being arrested, or the police finally filing formal charges against somebody. But of course, these rumors are not true at all. As we can probably figure out here, the rumors flying around made the job of the police just that much harder because they're trying to investigate, but they're also trying to figure out if any of these rumors have any truth to them, which they don't, which makes it even harder. After the attack on the Stark home, the town was flooded with media and law enforcement agencies from all over the country, and this was by far the most attention that Texarkana has ever received. So, devil's advocate here, if I'm the Phantom, and I start seeing law enforcement rolling in from different states and different jurisdictions, and I start seeing news vans all over town, I'm going to pack up and go home. I'm going to leave. I can continue this elsewhere, you know?
All right.
Leading the investigation were the Texas Rangers, who obviously are no joke. And the man at the helm of this particular group of Texas Rangers is named Manuel Lone Wolf Gonzalez. And again, if I'm the Phantom and there's a dude named Lone Wolf looking for me, I'm moving to a different planet. Like, hell no. What'd you say his name was? No.
Well, now you're fucked on a different planet because Chuck Norris is one with the universe now.
No. I have a theory about this. Okay, I've been banging this around in my head. He's not dead. He was selected to defend Earthrealm in the next round of Mortal Kombat. So he's been removed from our plane of existence to go fight like Scorpion or somebody. And if they don't put him in the next Mortal Kombat game, I'm going to be really upset. Because if anybody deserves it, it's Chuck goddamn Norris. I mean, you put fucking superheroes in it. Put Chuck Norris in it. It'd be so much more fun. Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee? Oh my god. Bruce Lee fighting Sub-Zero? I would pay to watch that. That'd be fantastic. So anyway, our ranger here, Gonzalez, is the first ranger captain of Spanish descent. And when I say Spanish descent, I mean he was born in Spain. Like, not Mexican. He was born in Spain, which is wild because it's Texas, and you hear a name like that, and you're like, oh, this guy's Mexican. Like, oh no, he has the dumb little lisp when he says S's instead of, like, speaking proper Spanish like the Mexicans do. He was known as a ruthless charmer, which I could see that working very well in your favor as a cop. Gonzalez spent a lot of time providing interviews for national newspapers and radios about this investigation. He even went to the Stark home with a Life magazine reporter to take photos. So he escorted this guy from Life magazine out there. As most of the South is looking, as most of the South was on the lookout for a masked madman who was targeting young couples on roadsides, reports start coming in from all over the region. The investigators would kind of consider about 400 people suspects total. And only a few of these would actually get any attention from law enforcement.
So literally everybody in town is a suspect.
Yeah, everyone with a penis is a suspect if you live in town.
Right.
There's a middle-aged man whose name was not given from College Station, which is a town in Texas about 5 hours away, was at one point in time considered a prime suspect because he'd been caught sneaking up to a parked car with a young couple in it with a .22 rifle, and he threatened to hurt them as he robbed them. He was never convicted of murder, but was sentenced for other crimes. Many other people thought that this guy was possibly the Phantom because he used the .22, but but the thing is, for me, the ones that you can actually tie to the Phantom, like 100%, he used a .32 revolver, not a rifle.
No, I thought you were going to say. I was trying to be Johnny on the spot there and be like, until there was another Phantom murder.
Oh, no. Unfortunately. Well, I mean, fortunately, but unfortunately for us. Over in Fayetteville, a young male graduate student at the University of Arkansas kills himself. During the investigation of the scene, a suicide note was found saying that had a poem and confession to the murders in Texarkana. His military records showed that he had displayed, quote, homosexual tendencies during his time in the Navy. That tracks. At this point in time,
history goo.
Listen, the only reason the Navy exists is to get the Marines to places. So at
history
this point, at this point in time, homosexuality was still considered a mental disorder, and was, quote, linked to sexual crimes like rape. Nothing of any value came of this whole thing, of course, because if this dude's gay, why is he sexually assaulting women?
Right.
Maybe that's why he used the gun. I don't know. It doesn't track. It makes no sense to me. I mean, part of that made sense, but not the murder part. A few locals pointed the finger at an IRS agent. And honestly, even if we execute this guy and he's not the right one, we got one less to deal with. They blamed him because of his antisocial behavior, and apparently he had gotten on the town's bad side. That could have just been because he works for the IRS.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I've literally never met anybody from the IRS that I would that would pass the 2 beers and a puppy test with me. So,
Right.
no, they're snakes. And if
You know,
anybody from
Are you familiar with HR 25, the fair tax bill?
no.
It's a proposed national sales tax that would eliminate the IRS. Which,
Oh no.
No. It's actually a good. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna like waste time explaining it. It's actually a good idea in my opinion, but I was reading this Facebook thread about it. And people were arguing it back and forth and whatever, and basically, the people from one party loved it, the people from one party hated it. You catch my drift.
I know which ones you're talking about too.
but this one person says, well, if we do away with the IRS, then what are all those IRS agents going to do for jobs?
I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm thinking to myself, see, I don't participate in political. I do like to read it because it's entertainment.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, it's like, okay, you're on your phone or you're on a computer. What about all the poor typewriter assemblers that lost their jobs when computers became?
Damn shame.
I mean, if you care about IRS agents, but not the poor guy that put together the typewriters.
No. IRS agents, if they lose their jobs, will just slither back to hell where they came from. They'll take lawyers and ATF agents with them. Any bill, like honestly, to talk politics here for a second, any bill proposed that eliminates any federal agency, I am fully behind.
Exactly.
Absolutely, 100%. Because all they do is take your money and do absolutely nothing to help you.
Yep. I mean, that alone makes HR 25 worthwhile.
And if you want to watch something hilarious, there's videos on YouTube back during it was like 2021, 2020, somewhere in there, when the Biden administration wanted to really crack down on people not paying their taxes or whatever. They started setting up IRS like tactical teams where they would come to your house. The training video is hilarious because it's just like women built like me and like these dudes that have no business holding guns, and they all have firearms. And then there's one dude in a wheelchair, which I'm not going to pick on anybody that's handicapped at all because that's not funny. But what are you going to do from downstairs? Roll up to my porch and yell at me about my taxes? No. I'm going to lock your brakes and tip you over backwards. Get the fuck off my lawn. Anyway.
Talking politics, schmolitics.
I hate them.
Man, me too.
Yeah. So another man claimed to have committed the crimes in the middle of an attack of amnesia, which that's another thing that I don't think is real is amnesia. Like, you get conked in the head with a bowling ball and you can't remember anything. It seems like a plot point for me. It doesn't seem like it's a real thing that actually happens. And of course, because this was during amnesia, he was never arrested because it's not real.
No.
What's that?
Selective amnesia.
Yeah, I that's real. I have that. I'm trying to make it work sometimes. In 1999 and 2000, a woman called a few of the families of the victims claiming to be the daughter of the Phantom, which sounds like the name of a comic book. She apologized for the actions of her father and begged for forgiveness. The part that doesn't add up is that the primary suspect that we're about to meet never had a daughter. So our primary... Nailed it. So our primary suspect is a man who I'm going to butcher his first name because it's not a Yule Sweeney. Okay, it sounds like it should be easy.
It sounds dirty.
Right? Youell. Is it Yule? Is it y'all?
Yule.
Yule. We'll go with Yule. Swinney. Never had a daughter. Now, we're going to run into a man named Max Tackett, which, again, that sounds like this dude.
I want to change my name to Max Tackett.
Right? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's like...
And then open a contracting firm, a contracting business.
So there was another dude. I think he was... I think he was a Navy officer. I got to find it here. That has just the most manly name.
That could be a new CKCB character, Max Tackett.
Yeah. So between Max Tackett and this guy that I'm about to tell you his name, these are the two most manly names you've ever heard. How about Slade Cutter?
I love it.
Yeah. Or Frank Hammer, the guy that chased down Bonnie and Clyde. Like, yeah. What happened to manly names? Like, son of a bitch. Like, if I'm a criminal and I find out that Frank Hammer is looking for me,
I'm just going to turn myself in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to find, like, the smallest police officer and be like, all right, buddy, here. I'm going to do you a favor and not put up a fight because I don't want Frank to come down here and kick my fucking teeth in. So Max Tackett is a law officer from Arkansas. He makes a huge connection in this case. Previous to each of the murders, a car had been reportedly stolen and abandoned on the side of the road. This leads the police to think that the Phantom is using stolen cars to flee from the scene, then dumping them and vanishing into the night.
Why are we just finding this out now?
I don't know, man. The next time a car was reported stolen, the police sprang into action and set up a stakeout. So we've jumped from 2000 with the fake Phantom person, fake Phantom daughter. We're jumping back into the 40s.
Oh yeah, I got that. But so we're actually hoping that somebody else gets killed, so that we can.
Yeah. We're being reactive instead of proactive because, unfortunately, that is how police works usually.
This episode is screaming for a Dick Darwin segment.
Unfortunately, he would be a competent officer compared to these ones, and it's not as funny if he's like actually like oh fuck, Dick's actually got it right here.
It's true.
So the next time a car was reported stolen, the police sprang into action and set up a stakeout. When they found the stolen vehicle, they took the driver, a woman named Peggy Swinney, into custody. And they questioned her about how she got a hold of this car.
Okay, if you had told me that they listed her as a suspect for being the Phantom...
Not so much a suspect, more...
a POI.
Not even that. More. We're arresting you for being in possession of stolen property.
A car thief.
But we're also going to get some information out of you.
Wait a minute, I got it. She was the Phantom's girlfriend, and she would be the one to steal the car. And since he's over here doing his murder, all she has to do is call him up and say, "Hey, the car is over here on Main Street." Wait a minute, they didn't have cell phones back then. Never mind.
I don't think they had payphones back then.
Yeah, they had payphones back then.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's like the late 40s. Yeah. So they ask her how she got a hold of this car, and she said that Yule, who was a well-known car thief in the area, had given her the car. But she also had a little bit more to tell them. She tells the police that Yule had told her that he was the Phantom and confessed to her that he committed the attacks and the murders and made her promise not to tell anyone. She gave the police details about the crimes that had not been released.
That discredits her. That discredits her because she promised not to tell, and she did.
It's going to get more frustrating. So she gives the police details about the crimes that were not released to the public. So this was information that only the killer could have known. And before the police could pick Yule up, Peggy changed her story and said that the first story had been a lie and that Yule wasn't the killer. Law enforcement pretty quickly found out. Yes. Law enforcement pretty quickly found out that Peggy and Yule had recently been married, which made it illegal for her to testify against him. Yule remained an unofficial suspect, and it seemed like he'd been like untouchable to law enforcement. That all changed in 1947 when Yule got nabbed for, get this, auto theft when he was... When he was picked up, Yule Sweeney had a pretty extensive criminal record. I thought you were going to... It wasn't me. He'd previously been charged with counterfeiting, burglary, and assault, resulting in him spending a good stretch in the Texas State Penitentiary. After he was released, he continued his career as a criminal and avoided capture for quite some time. During their investigation, the police found evidence that Yule had owned a Colt .32 revolver, which is the same weapon in the murders, except for the murders of Virgil Stark, who was killed with a .22 rifle. But it's a .22 rifle. Everybody owns a .22 rifle, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they are the most common firearm owned in the country. I mean, I've got 2 of them. They're not a huge deal. Everybody's got a fucking .22.
Right.
Yule claimed to have lost the gun in a card game. And another thing they found in his house was a shirt with the name Stark embroidered on the pocket. The police didn't really know if this was connected to the murder the previous year or not. He's got his goddamn shirt hanging up in the closet, and they're like, oh no. The fucking police force of Mongos, like, just no idea what they're doing. So with Yule Sweeney hemmed up for Grand Theft Auto, the police attempted to pin the murders on him as well, because he had a history of violence and sexual assault and the whole car theft background. Everything is pointing to him. During questioning, Yule never denied his innocence. He just stayed quiet and refused to answer any questions the police asked, which is a smart move. That's your, I don't know, Fifth Amendment to be like, I ain't saying shit. You know.
Lawyer.
Yes, lawyer.
There's an episode of Breaking Bad where they had brought the, I can't remember the guy's name. It's been so long since I've seen it, but whenever they're trying to ask him questions, it's like, okay, so blah blah blah, blah lawyer, blah blah blah, lawyer, blah blah blah, lawyer. You just kept saying lawyer.
There's I can't remember the name of the show. It's like an Australian like crime show. And one of the guys on there is a South African like hitman that shows up in town, and the police like roll up and like get him to come to the door, and they start talking to him. He's, I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. And that was his response to everything until they just like left him alone. Don't answer questions. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. Oh, this is fun. During part of the investigation, the authorities tried to give him a truth serum, which they botched, which would result in the investigators not being able to further question him about the Moonlight murders, which is what they were calling this whole thing, was the Moonlight murders.
You see here, we got the truth serum here. I mean, it's basically made from olive. You take a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of maple syrup, made in Vermont, a little bit of cayenne pepper,
just for kick,
just for kick, and you just mix that all up together, put one little drop of a little drop of eye drop in there and everything, and then you're gonna be real honest when you're sitting there on that toilet. I don't know why the hell. That was so. I'm cutting that part out. That was horrible.
I'm like, how do you botch this? Like botch this? They're like, well, we were trying to put it in his arm and we slipped and we jammed it in his eye, so we can't talk to him anymore. He's gonna sue us. Yul Sweeney.
That'll stay in. The crap that I just said, that's coming out. That was bad. I'm tired. I've had a long week.
Yul Sweeney remained in prison until 1973. A lot of his cellmates told stories that Yul had told them, including details that only the killer would have known. This would definitely lead one to think that Yul Sweeney was the man behind the mask.
I think he was.
I think he was too. That is until Yul Sweeney died in 1994, a free man, never having admitted to the murders. But to this day, he is still considered the most realistic suspect.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Now, here's a weird little twist. June 1st, 1948. 21-year-old Virginia.
It was the Ed Gein. It was the Ed Gein wannabe from last week.
Not quite.
That would have been a twist.
All right, yeah. Some weird Polish dude showed up like 40 years before he was born.
Yeah.
He had a time machine to go kill a bunch of Texans. I mean, if I was Polish and had a time machine, I wouldn't kill Texans. I'd probably head to Russia, but
exactly.
Maybe Austria. Who knows?
Yeah, Austria.
And actually, you couldn't even go to Russia. You'd want to go to Austria and Georgia to make sure you got both of them.
Yeah.
You know,
that's not the state.
Yeah, Georgia, the country. Yeah.
Right.
So, 1948, 21-year-old Virginia Carpenter left Texarkana by train, headed towards Denton, Texas, and the Texas State College for Women. On the train, she met another woman and fellow student, Marjorie Webster. When the train stopped, the two shared a cab from the station to the dorms. The cab driver was a man named Edgar Ray Jack Zachary, which is way too many first names, which leads me to believe that this guy is automatically a serial killer, even if he's not the one we're looking for. He dropped Webster off at the Fitzgerald dormitories and continued to the Breckenridge Hall, where Carpenter was going to be staying. Zachary reported that he saw Carpenter approach two young men in a yellow convertible outside the dorm. He said it seemed like she knew at least one of them and seemed excited to see them. The next day, Zachary returned to the hall with some of Carpenter's luggage that she'd forgotten at the train station. He placed the trunk that had her stuff in it at the hall's front entrance and left. Nobody would ever claim the luggage, and the previous night would be the last time that Virginia Carpenter would be seen alive. On June 4th, Carpenter's... Yes. I talk too fast is my problem.
And I don't know the story, so I don't know when they're coming.
On June 4th, Carpenter's boyfriend and mother would report her missing. Excuse me. Within days, search parties would check the local areas for any clues. Drivers of yellow convertibles were stopped and questioned. The cab driver, Zachary, was questioned and given a polygraph test. Before too long, rumor of Carpenter's disappearance made it back to Texarkana. Virginia Carpenter had personally known 3 of the other victims of the Phantom, which led some people to believe that she was targeted by the Phantom. So this has turned into Scream, apparently.
Yeah. Or B2K.
Yeah, that too. The theories are that the killer could have followed her on the train, or that the killer could have been one of the men that she was seen talking to in the car. In 1959, a wooden box was found buried full of female remains that matched the description of Carpenter. The remains were sent to Austin for examination, but the landowners confessed to digging them up from a local graveyard.
You know
which
what?
is strange.
I need a pimp slap sound effect.
I assure you, my
why
pimp hand
even
is
do that?
quite operational.
Okay, you know what I have for her?
Yeah.
Ow.
In 1998, a man called the police claiming to know where Carpenter was buried. He led them back to the women's college in Denton, where she was supposed to be going to school. The search came up
School have a
empty.
graveyard?
What's that?
Does school have a graveyard?
No.
Then why would you look for her grave?
Oh no, where she was buried, because the box that was found before that was faked.
Gotcha. Okay.
Carpenter's disappearance casts some doubt on the guilt of Yul Sweeney. If her disappearance was another victim of the Phantom, it couldn't have been him because he was in prison at the time.
Right.
Now, there's no way in hell that there could have been someone else in Texas that just decided to kill somebody. It's only this one guy.
Right.
He's the only killer in Texas. But there's a real chance that after the Stark attack that he relocated, because there was attacks all over the country and, the world, for that matter, that matched the Phantom's MO, which would include like Son of Sam in New York,
Right.
the monster of Florence, who killed 14 to 16 people in Florence, Italy between 1967 and 1985. I actually have a book about that I'd like to read because that seems very interesting. And I think that's another unsolved one.
It is.
Or, what's that?
It is.
Yeah. Or again, the Zodiac, like you mentioned before.
Right.
This is 1946. Oh, okay, hold on here. So then there's also this one where in 1946, a young couple, Elaine Eldridge and Lawrence Hogan, were parked outside of Dana Beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when someone approached the vehicle and shot them both with a .32 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Dania, sorry. So even though it's not a revolver, it's still same caliber, very similar killings to the ones in Texarkana.
But it's just somebody randomly taking a shot at somebody. I mean, and it was in Florida.
And again, there's no fingerprints or footprints found at that one. So, and then, we could go into a little bit of detail with like why it would match up with the Zodiac with, targeting young couples in secluded areas, very proficient use of a handgun, homemade mask, all that. The first Zodiac killing was December 20th, 1968. The last of the Moonlight murders was May 3rd, 1946, which would have left like a 22-year gap between the end of one and the beginning of the other. So if you figure the Phantom in his 20s or 30s would have been in his 40s or 50s during the Zodiac, if it's him. Again, there's nothing to really go on.
It's not likely, I don't think.
But the town of Texarkana is kind of like embraced its past. And every year in Spring Lake Park, where Betty Jo Booker's body was found, they do a screening on Halloween night of the 1977 Charles B. Pierce film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And actually, fun fact that I found, the actor that played the Phantom in the movie was the voice of Dirge in the run of Transformers from 1985 to 1987. So,
I had Dirge.
No shit.
Yeah, I had Dirge because I could never find Starscream.
So what's funny is that's pretty much where this whole thing ends. That's what we've got for this. It's unsolved. We have a good idea who did it, but we have no actual proof. Because he never confessed to it and he died a free man for some reason. But yeah, kind of blue balls on that one. But we got to talk about people getting shot. So there's that. So we filled part of the quota for the show. Like, hey, there's violence. That's what we needed.
Well, there's no beer either.
No. This was very much a blood for the blood god kind of episode. I'm sure if anybody out there listening to this plays Warhammer 40K, they will have got that reference. So
I didn't get it, so I'm not a gamer.
Skull for the Skull Thrones, blood for the blood god.
I will whoop your ass all over the screen with Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, yes. I suck at Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat, on the other hand,
yeah,
I can hold my own in Mortal Kombat.
Just because of my skills at Street Fighter, I am okay at Mortal Kombat, but beating me at Mortal Kombat is not an accomplishment. Beating me at Street Fighter is.
What? All right.
Well, thanks a lot for listening.
Oh.
Thanks a lot for listening, everybody, to our little impromptu train wreck. I hope you had fun. We did. So, interesting story to say the least. I mean,
yep.
I don't think I'd ever heard that one before. Nothing sounds familiar to me. It's like kind of reminded me of the Jazz Man from
actually, yeah.
That's an unsolved case I wouldn't mind covering.
Except instead of killing Italian grocery store owners, he just killed people that are trying to fuck in cars.
Right. So.
Yeah. Doing God's work.
This story is the Quentin Tarantino version of the Jazz Man.
Well, there was nothing done with feet, though, so...
That's true. But anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the hell out of it.
We sure do.
Hopefully next weekend is what we were supposed to do tonight. It may be, it may not be. So stay tuned. That's what we in the business call a teaser.
Foreshadowing.
Something's coming. Something's coming, and you don't know what it is.
Stop working after this episode.
Yeah, right? I think we set a record on this one. So, but anyway, until next time, later. Say bye, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Love you. Bye.